Yeah!
Hey, it's Josh Williams, and welcome to the One Man Podcast, episode number 91 for Wednesday, February 6th, 2019. How's it going, onesies? Welcome to the show. I've been sick the last few days, guys, and I really got to be honest, I think this one is going to actually be that short one that I thought it's going to be for some time now. Might even be, like, brutally short. Only just because I haven't been feeling too particularly well, and I don't have a lot to report. Yeah, that's kind of it. I mean, I did some tech support for my dad, in a manner of speaking. I had a couple little times to sit down and play some games with friends and family members. And then, I got a DK contest to tell you guys about. I meant to tell you about it last week, and I can't believe the whole episode came and went, and I never even mentioned it. Feel like an absolute moronical. Is that a thing? That's like a moron numbskull. I didn't know that until I was done saying it, but I think that's what I was going for. So last week, I'll just tell you, one of the things about having parents is that, for all of those, it's just, what a weird thing to say. One of the things about having parents, some of you do, some of you don't, would just be like a horrible thing. You're going to complain about something to do with your parents. And then some people are like, well, I wish I had them. I'd totally do that for them. It would be a good trade-off. Well, my dad got a new phone last week. And of course, when you're shopping around for phones, some people go to the store and they sign a new contract and they get one. And some people just go out and buy one outright on the interweb. And that is a much more difficult process. It's like buying a used car in terms of knowledge, right? How do you know if there's a problem with it? What kind of features, that kind of stuff. If anyone who knows anything about me, I buy all my cars new because I just don't know enough about cars to buy a used one. Because I would go, oh, is this a good price? How the fuck would I know? I wouldn't have the first clue as to tell if a car is good. If I was like, oh, $1,000 for a car, that sounds like a good deal. What's wrong with it? I don't know enough about it to be able to sit in it and ride in it and tell you. I couldn't pop the hood and look at it. You know what I mean? I feel like it'd be like the same as if someone, got in an accident and their skull came off and you're like, all right, are they hurt? Is that a good metaphor? I could look at a brain and I couldn't tell you anything about it. You may as well be showing me a human organ staring under the hood of a car, and I wouldn't be able to tell you if there's issues, what's not. I'd hear a sound. Some people go, it sounds like a catalytic converter or whatever. I would go, that sounds like a car running louder than it's supposed to run. So anyways, but I do know a little bit about cell phones, having worked in the industry for years. So I spent some time helping my dad find a phone on Kijiji, one of the Craigslist types of sites we have here in North America. I think it's all over North America, Kijiji. I don't know. It's not really that important, to be honest with you. But there used to be a site called like Used Ottawa or whatever, Used Toronto, things like that. And I think it got bought up by the bigger company, which is Kijiji. I think it's just all Kijiji now. But again, who knows? Who cares? Helped my dad find a phone after the podcast. I think I was doing the research pre-podcast last week, and then post-podcast, I went out with him to meet this guy, make sure the phone was on the up and up and unlocked and everything, yada, yada, yada. So we got it for a good price. And then I spent the next morning, my dad and I went out for breakfast, and because we couldn't get the phone to sync over and everything like that, on the phones, Apple's got a new thing where you can actually just hold the old phone next to the new phone, and it sort of takes a picture. You line up the camera with these like sparkling orb thing, and they just transfer over. But I think because they really two different software versions, it couldn't do that. So had to bring out a laptop and, back it up on iTunes and then restore it on iTunes. It just takes longer. That was one of the things I did last week. Couple different slots of days doing that. I started to get sick on a day that I was hanging out with my buddy Chris, listener of the podcast. Of course, you guys get emails from Chris. What else? We played some games at Chris's house. Basically hung out all day. Played a game called Tail Feathers, which took us way too long to learn. But we finally got the hang of it, and once we finally did, it was actually a little bit fun. And then that was like. It's like some board games I'm noticing lately they'll have 3 sets of rules. They're like, here's the introductory rules, and then here's the normal rules, then the advanced rules, and all of them add different things to the game. You add more shit to the game to play with different rules. Like, you'll open a box and like half the tokens stay in the box because on a regular version. So when it took us like 3 hours to learn the introductory version, I was like, this is a complicated game. But we finally figured it out, played. It was fun. I think we're going to play it again sometime soon just to see if we can get a good hang of it. Yeah, played, what else? I can't remember what else we played. I know that in the evening we played a game called The Networks, which I bought a long time ago. And it's basically where you're running a TV network and you're picking the shows, you're picking the advertisements, you're picking the stars in the show, and the game is played in that you're trying to get, the most amount of viewers. I think it's viewers or money. I don't remember what it is, but I believe it's viewers. Viewers is the final scoring. About you use monies to buy shows and stuff like that to, oh, why am I so tired? Just getting over, I'm having the first day where I'm over the hump of the cold, so I'm feeling better, but I still feel weak and tired. Afternoon on Tuesday, of course, as always. You guys will be listening to this on Wednesday. But, yeah, played the Networks. Fun game. Trying to get viewers. It's kind of a fun game, too, because you're buying shows and stars and this and that. But the cool thing about the game is, like, some shows get more viewers in a certain time slot. So you're actually managing the time slots of the shows that you're putting on as well. And some stars work better on some shows. Some ads work better on some shows. So it's a fun game, and of course you're trying to buy shows before your opponents do. And then there's a series of seasons. Game plays over a series of seasons. And of course, shows get, either more or less popular as their seasons go on. Just a fun game, fun theme. Really enjoyed it. I got a few expansions for it, but we just played the base game. Chris, his lovely wife, Rebecca, and myself thoroughly enjoyed that game. I was sick over the course of the weekend. I did an alcohol sampling while under the weather. That sucked. It has been cold and rainy and slushy in Ottawa. I went around with my brother. We, this weekend, my brother and I went out to a board game store just to check out some stuff. After picking up some board games this week, I had to get some sleeves and accessories. Just boring ass nerdy shit, basically. Like I said, I had a really uneventful week, and I can't anticipate that any of it is particularly interesting to you guys. That was Sunday. My brother and I went out. The weather was so shitty. Like, it was freezing rain in Ottawa, and the weather was so, like, I don't know, it was like just above mild, that the snow was starting to melt a little bit. But the issue was, because it was just slightly below zero, what would happen is, like, there's all this mist in the air from the humidity and whatnot. So as I was driving on the highway, just this mist is starting to accumulate on my windshield. And even though you're wiping it away, it's freezing so fast that, like, the entire windshield's just covered in ice, and you're on a highway. Like, you can't pull off and just scrape it off. Like, you couldn't even see at some points because the lights on the highway. It was actually, there was a couple points where I was like, this is fucking crazy. I had to pull off the highway with my head sticking out of the window like Ace Ventura. Oh, by the way, I can finally roll my windows down. Tinting nightmare is over. But yeah, put my head out the window, like, trying to see, just make sure I didn't kill myself, get over. I bought this really wicked, spray, like windshield ice melter spray. Oh my God, it's amazing. It's a godsend. Just whip that out, spray it on the windshield. Oh my God, everything's melting. So much better. So yeah, did that. Super Bowl was Sunday. I didn't watch it. Didn't give a shit. It's like the Patriots and the LA Rams. I didn't even know the Rams weren't in St. Louis anymore. So how about that for a sports fan thing? And then I walked in the door after my errands. I walked in the door right as, like, Tom Brady's, like, hugging everybody and everyone's on the field sticking microphones in his face. And I was like, oh yeah, the Pats win again. Who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? Like, I don't give a shit. No, but it's a record now. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. The millionaire is more of a millionaire. The guy has another ring on he's going to have to switch hands now because he's got too many rings for one hand. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. I heard, and all I saw on social media was that everybody hated the halftime show. A lot of times the halftime show is the best part of the game. It was like one of the lowest scoring Super Bowls ever, 13-3. So one touchdown scored the entire game. Ugh. I don't care. I don't care. Didn't give a shit. And I walked at the perfect time just so I could walk in and just visually go, oh, Pats won. Okay. Who cares? Even if, I guess it's like, not like I would have cared if the Rams won, but I was so uninvested in the Super Bowl. Didn't give a shit. I'll tell you, I was out killing myself on the highway, getting freezing rain on my windshield. Excuse me. So I did that. I think I may have done... I talked to my buddy Aaron, whose house I did some electrical at, and they're having an issue with a couple of the plugs, so I want to go in there and make sure that someone didn't nick one of my wires when they were putting up drywall or something like that, because I have never had to actually go back and fix anything from any of the work I've ever done, so I'm a little bit concerned. So I may end up doing that this evening after the podcast. Anything else super interesting going on with me? I did have, so here's the thing. I was actually supposed to be working this entire week on a project, but I got asked to do, so here's a little interesting thing. I'm not shitting on any of the companies I work for, and I won't mention them by name, but one of the companies that I work for, I was supposed to be working with them all month. And they reached out to me on the weekend. I was kind of like, when am I going to get the info for this big month-long thing I'm doing? But one of the people reached out to me this weekend, was like, hey, are you available on Valentine's Day in Toronto to do this acting thing for a company? And I was like, well, I could be, but I mean, that's one of the days I'm supposed to do that thing for you guys. So if you can make arrangements for me to be off that day, maybe I'll make it up on the Saturday or something. And they were like, oh, we meant to tell you that whole thing isn't happening this month. They're probably going to do it in March instead. And I was like, well, that would be good to know. Considering that, like, I've had another company that tried to poach me for the entire month of February. I was like, yeah, sorry, I'm spoken for. So I spent a lot of this weekend, honestly, trying to sort out my schedule to fill my month of work. So yeah, it really, I'm sorry guys, but this, this last week, I don't even know if I have anything funny. I'm still a little under the weather, so my humor is a little lowered. Been watching Wentworth. All right. That's what I've been spending my spare time. And I got to tell you guys, I really like that show. It is Australian. Orange is the New Black. And it's not stupid. It's not like a comedy. It's not like something that was like a drama with a lightheartedness that Orange is the New Black started as. It's a darker drama, and I gotta tell you, I'm in the 4th season of it now. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. There's some stuff that doesn't make sense in it from time to time. I don't know if you're like me. I'm a little neurotic. Sometimes if things don't make sense to me, I'm kind of like, I hate when I'm loving a storyline and then just shit starts to kind of go out of the way. It doesn't make sense. I'm not gonna stop watching or anything like that, but there's been a few parts in the series where I was just kind of like, sometimes it happens and they get back to it later. Sometimes it happens and then just never get back to it. So I don't know if there are some things that I'm still like hung up on or just not being addressed right now. But I was chatting with Crystal about it, and I was just saying how, like, it sucks because some shows have good storylines and good arcs, and then it just turns out that, like a season will end and you think that they're going to get back to something, but maybe while the seasons were renewing or something, like an actor's contract was more expensive, or they decided, the show lost money, so they had to do budget cuts, and they figured, well, the easiest thing to do is eliminate storylines that can be eliminated and actors that can be eliminated and shit like that. Like, that's one of the things that kind of sucks about the business, but it is still a business, right? At the end of the day. You can't just be like, well, I like that story, so, lose money so that we can, hear a story that, may not have ended in a favorable way anyway. So I think this show may suffer from that. I'm not 100% sure. But I'm liking it. I haven't been this interested in a show in a long time. The actors and actresses in it are outstanding. But it's an Australian show, women's prison. I would say if you're having trouble following it, I would say I was about 2 or 3 episodes in before I was like hooked, but I find that to be the case with every show I watch now. Like there has been a very, very long time since I've watched a show that was like first episode had me hooked. Unless it's a type of show where everything is self-contained in an episode, right? You watch a cooking show or a magic show or something like that. There's that Magic for Humans show I told you guys about, where every episode is designed to be self-contained. Another episode will have new tricks and things. Or I was watching Impractical Jokers, where it's like, a series. Basically, Impractical Jokers is a Kenny versus Spenny type show where they all have to do something crazy. And then if they don't, at the end of the episode, one of them gets punished and has to do something embarrassing. So all that to say is that I'm enjoying Wentworth. It's a good show. It takes a few episodes to get into. If you're having issue following what they're saying, because they do speak with, Australian accents, and they do have their own slang for things, it's pretty easy to pick up. I mean, I'm an idiot and I picked it up relatively quick. But Crystal had suggested to me early on, like, to watch it with subtitles, just it helps out. And there are times where somebody will say something, and I mean, times is in like maybe once or twice a season where I have to like go back and put subtitles on so I can hear what they're saying. Cause it's just that thick Australian accents at times, but great show. Check that out. If you like a stupid no-brainer show, Impractical Jokers has been fun to have on in the background while I've been doing other things. And that's it. I think I hung out with my mom yesterday, and just again played a few board games with my mom. I got a couple really charming games. I got one called Burger Up, where you're basically just laying levels of hamburgers, vegetables and sauces and meats and cheeses and things like that. But there's a lot of fun strategy to it. I won't go into it, but I had a fun game playing that. My parents over the last couple of years have been they've had this aquarium in their living room, and they've been buying new fish and learning stuff about fish and stuff like that. So my mom found this game called Aquarium, and we learned to play that, and that was fun and charming too. So it was just a cool day hanging with my mom. She's been a little under the weather before me, so it was just over the hump day. I don't know. I get the feeling that lately she's been feeling a little blue. So I just wanted to spend time with her, and we had a good time, played some games, and then I fucking kicked her ass off at the curb back at her place. No, I'm kidding. No, good time. But like I said, my week's been pretty uneventful, so I don't have anything fun or interesting to report. But there you go. There's 15 minutes of whatever. Also, because I have had very little to talk about or think about, whatever. Like I said, I've been watching TV and trying to sort out what my February is going to look like. I can't tell you guys much about this thing that I'm going to be doing on Valentine's Day in Toronto, but I basically picked something up where I'm going to be doing kind of like an acting promo gig at Union Station in Toronto. So if you're listening, you feel like coming to Union Station, downtown Toronto on Valentine's Day, though I don't know why you would. You'll see yours truly in a very interesting character, I guess, thing. Whatever. I'll tell you more about it maybe when it's finished. But I will be in Toronto on Valentine's Day, so that's something. There you go. That's coming up. That's mildly interesting. But I'll tell you more about when I can. And having said that, are we at the sponsor time already? Wow. Record-setting quick podcast this week, huh? How about that stuff? This week, I've been meaning to get to this book for a while, though I haven't figured anything that I've really done. I try to segue into these things. My partner's at portablepress.com, of course, Uncle John's Bathroom Readers. And this is a book that I've been flipping through for a while, but been looking for a way to bring in, and I still don't have a way to bring it in. I could let's segue and say that, the old podcast, I used to talk a whole bunch. And now this episode, not a lot, right? The history. Back in history, when I used to talk a lot, I got no segue. This is strange history from my partners at portablepress.com. Mysterious artifacts, macabre legends, boneheaded blunders, and mind-blowing facts. And this is an article called Things Don't Change. We begin this strange journey with some quotations from ages past that sound like they could have been said last week. What is happening to our young people? They disrespect elders and disobey their parents. They ignore the law. They riot in the streets inflamed with wild notions. What is to become of them? That was Plato in 427. Well, Plato lived from 427 to 347 BC. And you're like, why does that number get smaller? Because it's before Christ. It's getting smaller because we're leading up to it. All time revolves around Christ in terms of the years. That's another thing too, right? If you're atheist, but you call the years what they are, you realize that number is supposed to be after Christ, right? It's the years, the earth is more than 2019 years old. But we measure it based on Christ's birthday. There's a guy with a fucking ego, huh? The young people of today think of nothing but themselves. They have no reverence for parents or old age. They are impatient of all restraints. They talk as if they know everything, and what passes for wisdom to us is foolishness to them. As for the girls, they're forward, immodest, and unladylike in speech, behavior, and dress. That's Peter the Hermit. In the AD times of 1050, he lived from 1050 to 1115. Died at the ripe old age of 65, huh? No job worth doing was ever done on time or under budget. And that's Khufu, the Egyptian pharaoh, from 2560 BC on building the Great Pyramids. That's what he's talking about. No job worth doing is ever done on time or under budget. What else we got from these old crazy guys that are saying things like they could have been said yesterday? Nothing is more unpredictable than the mob. Nothing more obscure than public opinion. Nothing more deceptive than the whole political system. That's Cicero, 106 to 43 BC. Oh, that guy came so close to meeting old little baby Jesus. Great wisdom is generous. Petty wisdom is contentious. Great speech is impassioned. Small speech cantankerous. From Zhuangzi, Jesus Christ, Zhuangzi, Chinese philosopher. That's one name, by the way. Z-H-U-A-N-G-Z-I. You see those letters together like that all the time. Z-H-U, G-Z-Y, G-Z-I, sorry. Chinese philosopher from 369 to 286 BC. The Arius Polio apartment complex owned by Gnaeus alias Negidius Maius for rent from July 1st. Street front shops with countertop space, luxurious second-story apartments, and a townhouse. Prospective renters, please make arrangements with Primus, slave of Gnaeus alias Negidius Maius, from a Roman rental notice from Pompeii in 1st century AD. So there you go. Those Remax ads, those real estate ads, they started early. And of course, as usual, make arrangements with Primus, the slave. I wonder who the slaves are. Do you think the real estate agents are the slaves now? Remax puts a sign, hey, you interested? Call my slave, Debbie. Is it better to hide ignorance? Sorry, it is better to hide ignorance, but it is hard to do this when we relax over wine. From Heraclitus, Greek philosopher and founder of the from 540 to 480 BC. Oh, that guy did he last long? The numbers are going down, so I got to subtract. He was 60. Quickly bring me a beaker of wine so that I may wet my mind and say something clever. From Aristophanes, the father of comedy, 456 to 386 BC. Oh, that guy he had a good run, I think, that one. But I'm not doing the math. And that's it, guys. That was a bunch of weird quotes from smart people. But the article's called Things Don't Change. And they sure don't, right? Because listening to what they're saying about kids, that same stuff could be said today. And it's probably been said for every single year from then until now. And there we go, for my partners at portablepress.com from the book Strange History. There's all sorts of fun articles in there. As you know, they got all sorts of fun shit in their books. So why not pick one up today at portablepress.com? Yours truly is glad he's on the mend because I have to get my my ass in gear for my headlining week at Absolute Comedy in Ottawa. That's February 19th to 24th. But of course, there's always great shows at Absolute Comedy. So check out absolutecomedy.ca for Kingston, Ottawa, and Toronto locations and what shows they have coming up. Absolute Comedy is the best live stand-up comedy from across North America with locations in Kingston, Toronto, and Ottawa, Ontario. These comedians have been featured on Just for Laughs, Netflix, Comedy Central, CBC's The Debaters, Jimmy Kimmel Live, Conan, The Comedy Network, and much, much more. Go to absolutecomedy.ca to see this week's lineup. Planning a night out is easy with dinner and show packages available at all locations. Live comedy is a great choice if you're organizing a celebration, fundraiser, company outing, or corporate event. Want the show brought to you? They'll send comedians to your venue with performances tailored to your event, creating a night of laughs your guests will love and won't soon forget. So for showtimes, ticket prices, gift certificates, special shows, and more, head to absolutecomedy.ca. Again, that's absolutecomedy.ca for the best live stand-up comedy from across North America. And I'm back. Who else are my partners? Well, Carlsberg, for one. I go parent company now. Carlsberg, underneath which my two favorites, Kronenberg and Summersby. Delicious flavors of all kinds. Summersby, of course, giving you the regular Summersby, the semi-dry if you want something just a little bit less sweet. Right? Then you got the blackberry, the watermelon, red rhubarb, pear. Oh, so many flavors to tantalize your taste buds. And then we go back over to the Kronenberg profile. Well, we got the beers here. Nice popular, I think it's the second most popular beer in Europe, if I'm not mistaken, Kronenberg. Great beer. Then you got the Kronenberg Blanc, nice little citrusy white beer, absolutely delicious. And then Kronenberg Blanc Fruit Rouge. Fruit Rouge. If you don't speak French, that means red fruits. But the Fruit Rouge is absolutely, I just say like I'm saying, Fruit Rouge. I want a Fruit Rouge. Delicious. Absolutely delicious. So, check those out. Next time you're kicking around your old liquor store, just say, hey, what do I want to sip on? Well, why don't you try what I have been telling you for a long time is delicious taste profiles, huh? Give it a fucking shot. I'm meeting up with my guy tomorrow to get a little resupply, right? Because I like to treat my guests to the best. So that's what I do. I say, hey, are you thirsty? Are you thirsty? What would you like to drink? And they say, what do you got? And I go, what do I got? Nothing but the best for you is what I got because I take care of my peoples. All right. And with that, who am I forgetting? Am I forgetting? You know, I'm not forgetting them. My partners at dk.com/ca, Dorling Kindersley, my DK books, man, my favorites. DK today, I am talking about something super, super spicy. And that is the Spice book. It's not what it's called. It's just called Spice, as a matter of fact. Understand the science of spice, create exciting new blends, and revolutionize your cooking. This book is like, I think it's an understatement to say it's an encyclopedia of spices, but this book is absolutely outstanding, as is all of their books. I like this book because it has a bunch of the sciences behind spice written in it. You know what I mean? So it tells you a lot about what's going on, some of the flavors, how they kind of react in foods, which is really cool. It even sort of defines what a spice is and sort of how the oil glands in spices work and stuff like that. It's really cool. I really got to say, if you're a chef of any kind, not to say that you don't already have a good grasp of spices, but this is definitely a great book to know. But it's really cool. They have like a periodic table of spices in here, which I find to be really, really cool. They had all sorts of ways of, like, there's basically pairing compositions. At the end of the book, there's actually a huge table that has just all the different kind of chemicals, I think is the best way to call it, in spices. So like maybe chemicals or compounds. That's the better word for it. Sorry, I had to flip to it because I was like, they had a better name for it. I know that's not what it is. So it's all the different compounds in spices, but it's a really, really vast table that has everything in there. What I like about this is it separates the spices, lets you kind of know their different profiles. It tells you where in the world they're from. So every spice, when you pull it up, like you can see, right? Because we all know that back in the old days, the sailing ships and spice trade and all that stuff, like spices were a big deal. And this gives you a ton of different kinds of ideas of what types of spice come with. Like a lot of people, I say, I'm trying not to be that person who goes, everyone knows. Not a lot of people know. I'm one of those people who doesn't. I'm part of everyone, and there's a lot of times where I don't know what everyone knows. But a lot of people are aware that spices like cumin and coriander are generally, East Indian type foods. You taste a lot of that stuff in East Indian foods. Well, there's a lot of different kinds of, I should just say Indian. It's a shame that most people, if I said Indian, they're like, you telling me Native Americans? No. But there's all sorts of different, I don't know. I love this book. It's got everything, I can start naming spices, but all the different types of, cuisine and things like that. It discusses the different types of spices in the areas. It goes into great detail about each individual spice and its origin and what it's basically used for. There's recipes in here. It's not overwhelmed with recipes, but there's a lot of just good recipes that help give you an idea of how best used some of these spices are. There's areas like the Andes, the Amazon, like it'll tell you about all the different kinds of spices in the area. Of course, North America being late to the party in terms of some of this stuff. Our biggest spice is ketchup, but it's a really cool book, guys. It's really, really cool. And of course, it's interesting to see how spices are used, not just like, in spice, but, in like lattes and things like that, and how we use different spices just to create different taste profiles. Super, super wicked book. Tons of information. Again, in the nature of keeping these reviews shorter, I would just say anyone who's into cooking, anyone who is into any kind of culinary stuff, even I would say bakers too, take a peek at this. If you're someone who is starting to get into cooking and you just find it boring and bland, you're going to learn a lot in this book to be able to sort of, spice things up, no pun intended. I'll throw this little thing off the back of the book at you. Okay. Calling all spice fans, adventurers, and curious cooks. Take your spice love to the next level with insight from food scientist and best-selling author, Dr. Stuart Fairmond. Learn the science behind the art of creating spice blends and how flavor compounds within spices work together to create exciting layers of flavor and new tastes and sensations. With more than 40 regional guides, 60 spices, and 65 authentic, innovative recipes and blends, Spice will inspire you to cook in a whole new way. So, as I mentioned, spice, huh? Spice it up. As usual, if you guys check out the social medias, I always have links to where you can find these books on there. I'm actually a few weeks behind right now. I've been like, I don't know, I think I had a couple weeks where I just missed the social media scheduling, didn't work on the account or whatever. So now I'm trying to catch up, and I'm not trying to throw a bunch, whatever. It doesn't matter. If you want to know about any of the books that I've talked about, I've had a few people reaching out and asking me. That's one thing to do. But also, DK has a contest right now, guys, which I told you about a few episodes back. But post something, because they are going to be giving, I think it's a $250 shopping spree. They're going to be giving one $250 shopping spree away to a Facebook winner and one $250 shopping spree to a Twitter user. So all you got to do, guys, all you have to do is post a picture of your favorite DK book. All right. And a lot of you have them. I've talked to my friends. A lot of you guys have DK books. Just snap a picture of it, post it on Facebook with the hashtag I love DK. That's it. That's all you got to do. Hashtag I love DK. and DK will find it. They're going to be retweeting. They're going to be sharing. So you put that out there. If you want to throw a little story in there about what you like about it, I'm sure they'd appreciate it. But really, just post a picture of your favorite DK book and just say, hey, it's my favorite DK book here. And you could win. Like I said, there's going to be 2 winners for their, as far as I know, their Canadian friends. So there's some people posting this shit out already, but I would say that chances are actually pretty high of winning that shopping spree. So, and that's not just for their new stuff. That's anywhere on their website. So any of the stuff they have books, they've been putting out the good stuff for a long time. So hopefully you're paying attention to this. Make a little note wherever you are, cubicle, car, whatever, tell your mobile device to remind you when you get home. But all you gotta do is snap a picture, hashtag I love DK, and you could win a $250 shopping spree. And you can get great books like Spice, or, what's some other good ones? There's obviously the How It's Made series, which is one of my favorites. Sorry, How It Works, not How It's Made. How It's Made is a TV show. How It Works series, or the Big Idea Simply Explained series, which have a few great books coming out in the near future, which you will hopefully hear me review. I haven't received them yet, but of course, as always, there's, you never know, postal strikes and this and that, but I'm hoping to get those ones soon. I can't wait to tell you guys about those. But there's great books all the time. I give you a fresh one every week. And for all my newfound parents, I have requested a book about like young children or whatever. I think that book is going to be of interest to you guys as well. So I look forward to having that arrive soon. I look forward to reading it and sharing with you guys, because I actually find that book very interesting. I'm very interested in psychology lately, and I'm very interested in all my new friends with parents, whatever. So I found this really interesting little thing about sort of how to understand what your children's behavior is and what it means to them at a very young age. But anyways, I will tell you guys more about all the books when they arrive. So dk.com/CA in Canada, dk.com in the States, or just Google DK books anywhere else in the world and take a look at these things. They are outstanding and, of course, available in numerous languages. They are not just available in English. So thank you to all my sponsors and partners. It is time for a little touch and go. Let's see how everyone's doing this week. I figure Aaron, who I spent a lot of time with last week at his place doing electrical work. I don't think I called Aaron, but if I did, well, we're doing it again then. So, I'm going to go give Aaron a call, see how he's doing. And then, if not, I might just call my brother and see how he's doing. I don't have a lot of people to chat with this week. Doodly doop 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 doop. Hey. I had to replace my SIM card this week too. That pissed me off. Got in a big, text, what is it? Like chat help war on one of those websites. Like, hey, just replace my goddamn SIM card. See if Aaron answers the phone.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, pal, how are you? Welcome to the One Man Podcast.
Can you hear me?
I can. Are you there?
Okay, there you are.
Yeah, welcome to the podcast, man. Did I call you last week and do this?
Oh, God. I'm driving right now. I'm just pulling in to pick up Jaden from school.
That's fine. These are only supposed to be 1 or 2 minutes long anyways.
Yeah, I've got all sorts of things that the people need to hear about.
Well, that's okay.
So I'm going to need you to clear your schedule.
Okay.
Got a lot of thoughts I want to share with you, particularly about immigration.
Okay, please do.
That's kosher, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, man, it's you guys. Anyone can say whatever they want. I just distance myself from it.
Yeah,
I hear Hillary laughing as well. That must mean she's with you as well.
Yeah, you got Chloe. And I got Chloe here. I got Hillary.
Oh, that's cool. And just picking up Jaden, eh? Well, why doesn't one of you run in and grab Jaden, and then you can do a whole full car karaoke or whatever it is of you guys on there. So I was just telling the listeners that I'm going to be going back to your guys' place this evening to fix whatever's going on with the plugs down there.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Are you actually recording right now?
Yeah, I'm recording right now. Everything you're saying is being recorded.
God.
Yeah, I told you.
For the record, immigrants are cool. I'm down with all of you.
That's so funny. I'm pretty sure everyone could tell you were joking, but maybe there was one person out there who's like, who is this guy? Don't worry, I didn't say your last name, so.
This is the idiot. This is the well you draw from?
Yeah. Basically, I try to make the call relevant to what's going on in my life, and since I'm going to your guys' place tonight, I figured I'd give you a ring.
Fantastic and much appreciated.
Oh, no worries.
You wanna come in with me?
You guys having a good day? Is Hillary going to go pick up Jaden then?
Yeah, I'll go get
Yeah, man.
Word. There you go. You're off the hook. I saved you. Oh, you're very welcome.
guys don't eat all that pizza.
What pizza?
Oh yeah, heads up. Don't take too much time coming over. We picked up a couple of pizzas for us.
Ooh. Is there salad on them?
I hope not.
Okay, good.
One is bacon double cheeseburger.
Okay,
I don't even know what the other one is.
nice. You just call them up and you're like, surprise me. What can I get you? You're like, a surprise.
What are you guys? What are you talking about on the podcast today?
Well, I don't know. I talked about how I kind of had an uneventful week. I got sick last weekend, so it was kind of boring. But they've already heard me talk about all that stuff. I want to know what's going on with you. That's the whole point, is for me to catch up with you. What's going on with you, man? How's your life been since they put up those walls in your basement?
Well, you'll see this evening, basement is making progress, so we like that.
Excellent.
Today I had the opportunity for the first time to go into school as a supply teacher in kindergarten.
Ooh.
So that was eventful.
Yeah, how'd you like that? What did you teach them? I guess in kindergarten you're just teaching them not to run with scissors and stuff, right?
Oh, I don't teach them anything, especially today with being today was a snow day, so all the buses were canceled. So like there are 3 kindergarten classes, but they're all combined. So I was just there, being an extra body in the classroom. There were regular staff there, and I just pretty much hang out and make friends.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it was neat. A lot of cuteness.
Yeah, man. Well, kids are adorable, especially when you don't have to keep them. You know what I mean? It's like going to a pet store and you get to like pet the dogs and then you put them back, which sucks. I always feel bad, but you know what I mean? Like, at least you know that the kids are going to a home in the end. The dogs,
everybody gets to be an uncle. It gets to be cool when they're an uncle or a grandparent.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But again, like, they're going to home. The dogs are just going back into a box. How's Bosco doing?
Wow. He's a treat.
Yeah? Is he there with you guys too?
Should have a Bosco. I think we're going to get him fixed next month, most likely.
Yeah, why is that?
So, I don't know. He's be responsible as a pet owner, but
okay, so it's not like he did something that made you want to move up the timeline.
Actually, took his nuts as punishment.
Oh, I don't know. I know a lot of people who would probably think that was something that would be something good.
That'll teach you.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Okay, well, I won't keep you too long. Yeah, you could tell me the story. I'll let you guys get on with the family mobile there, but I'll reach out when I'm on my way this evening.
All right, man. We'll see you soon.
All right, talk to you later, buddy. Well, that was a weird touch and go, huh, guys? You never know what you're gonna get with these goddamn phone calls. But so yeah, that's my week coming up. It starts with fixing some plugs. I've got another LCBO event that I'm doing this week, one that I did over the holidays, where I'm just going into the stores and teaching people how to use the app. Luckily, I'm not dressed like a Christmas elf this time. So yeah, I'll be able to just enjoy walking around, making new friends. I'm doing a pet event on Saturday, and then on Monday, I'm featuring at Absolute Comedy just to test out some new material that I've mildly written, just some ideas I got banging around in my head. I'm going to spit them out on stage and see if they're funny. And that's all I have coming up, is a little bit of work, because like I said, I'm trying to organize my February. So yeah, I've got Absolute Comedy coming up later on this month, the 19th to 24th. So if you're in the Ottawa area, please come see what I've been working on. I promise you, me on stage is a lot funnier than me talking to my wall on the podcast, especially after a boring week. So episode 91, very, very quietly coming to an end. I'd love to hear from you guys. Contact the onemanpodcast.com. I'd love to hear what's going on with you. Tell me about your good weeks, your bad weeks, your good stories, your bad stories, whatever you got going on. I'd love to hear it. I will apologize for this episode not really being much of anything. It's how it feels, but that's just kind of the week. Not every week is going to be super exciting, especially when you're under the weather and just sort of staring around. I've basically just ordered a bunch of upkeep stuff this week. Stuck in bed, I ordered new sleep apnea filters and tubing, and it's such boring shit. Just making me feel old. I feel old this week. I feel blah. The weather's been shit. So rather than just complaining, I'm just going to keep it short. Okay. So thank you to all of my sponsors, portablepress.com, Absolute Comedy, Summersby, Carlsberg, Cronenberg, all those bad boys. And of course, DK Books. So dk.com/ca, dk.com. I appreciate you guys all for being out there and supporting this wee little podcast of mine. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. I'm on there, One Man Podcast. Please feel free to like, subscribe, follow, all that fun stuff. That's how you're going to get updates on the DK contest and things like that too. Just little reminders on your end. Please subscribe on iTunes, Podcast, Spotify, Google Play Music. All those things are out there. If you have two seconds, this actually really just takes 2 seconds when you're on that app, is to just click on the 5 stars and give me a 5-star review. It helps me. It helps give attention to the podcast, even though, no one's going to be like, hey, they're not going to see your personal recommendation. They're just going to see a bunch of people gave it a bunch of 5 stars. All right. No one's going to go looking for each individual person, hunt you down and go, hey, it wasn't good. Episode 91 wasn't good. Why did you give this 5 stars? Right? You're 5-starring the whole podcast. On average, I still don't think it's worth 5 stars, but we're getting there. And your 5-star reviews encourage me to just keep getting back on that horse. All right. So I appreciate you guys being out there. Thank you for listening to my podcast. Thank you for anyone who's listening on Facebook and Twitter. If you need help subscribing, you want to hear this every single week, I'll do my best to warn you guys when it's not a great week. I think I did a good job of that this week, but 40 minutes in. There you go. Probably one of the shortest podcasts. I think the last time there was one that was this short was when I was mid-sick. But not a lot to report this week, guys. I do apologize for that. I'm not going to make you listen to just dribble. So have a great week. Valentine's Day is coming up. Let me know what you got planned for Valentine's Day if you can without, giving anything away. And until then, I will hopefully have some interesting stuff. I got some interesting stuff coming up. So stay tuned. We'll have a nice, exciting episode, hopefully, for you next week. In the meantime, stay out of trouble. Stay warm.